One of the more risky motor patterns to train in resistance training or loaded training is the twisting pattern. Our body is meant to twist. It was built that way. From the ground up, we have various joints that allow us to twist. The spine itself doesn't twist too far from the tailbone all the way to your neck. There's not that big of a twist through the spine, but the hips, the ball and socket, the ankles, the knees as they unlock through a hinge, we're able to really twist even from a standing position where my feet don't move. But then when you start talking about twisting with a pivot of the foot and rotation from day to day, this is a very important motion for us to be able to move freely throughout our lives. So to resist the twist and get some strength training from it, there's a couple different modes that we could use. The most easy way is to do it from a standing position and rotate against a band. This has to become a unilateral exercise, meaning one side at a time, because you just can't twist both ways at the same time. So we're going to load this up out in front of us to show you a horizontal rotational motion here. From this, I'm going to load, again, this starts with progressions, and we'll have another video to talk about progressions, but I'm going to load about shoulder width apart if it's my very first time. If you came more narrow, it'd be harder. If you went wider, you'd start to change things in the positions, and it would be maybe a little bit more solid, but let's start with about hip width apart for the demonstration today. For this type of band twist, I'm going to start by gathering my core strength, squaring my hips up, and finding my foundation through my feet before I ever load the exercise, which would look like this. So now I'm lengthening that lever out in front of me, and I'm getting a lot of shoulder and upper body work with this, just holding it here. I'm also getting core and strength training all the way through the center, into my hips, down, especially through that back foot, grounding into the ground. Really, it becomes a total body exercise. The twist portion of it would then move in a smaller range of motion, reaching back toward the door. If you lose tension in this one, you would want to move out away from it a little bit so we have tension through the entire range of motion, and rotating through in a small range of motion, just minimizing the hip movement as much as you can, though not stopping the hips from moving. We don't want to dominate with our hips, meaning twisting more through my legs. We want to get most of the motion here through our center torso. So I keep my hands square to the middle of my chest, and I'm going to turn with the shoulders, but I am going to let my legs, thighs, knees, and hips turn slightly to guide this. What I don't want to do is lock my hips in place and only rotate through my upper body, because our spine's not going to like that too much. We're made to move as one kinetic chain. So the resistance training needs to go to both sides here. So from the side view, or a little bit more of a side view, you'll see my posture doesn't really change. I'm in a soft, strong stance. My suck and tuck is engaged through my butt and my belly to keep my pelvis in position. And I'm rotating lightly through the hips and allowing those shoulder muscles just to brace against it, not moving the hands across. The hands stay centered through my chest. It's almost as if you're creating a little triangle here. If I bent over, you'd be able to see that triangle. That triangle doesn't move so much in the twist. It stays locked in place. So you can see how the twist, yes, happening here at the center torso, is actually a whole body motion. It stabilizes through the shoulders, through the hips, and all the way down to the floor.